Hey everybody, I'm Burlacher, and this is Around the Hood with KSL Cars. So this is my 2007 Ferrari F430, and this is a car that I never thought I would ever own. This particular car is a 4.3 liter V8 engine, which is, you had the 360 before that was a 3.6 liter. Then you had the 430, which is a 4.3 liter. Then you had the 458, which is, a lot of people say that's a pinnacle car. That's a 4.5 liter. That is the Ferrari specifications that I know. It's pretty quick, it's pretty fast, it's light, it's nimble, it's a blast to drive. So as far as customizations, the other things that were done, probably the coolest thing, aside from the sound system, is the whole interior is done with Alcantara. So it's just this beautiful suede material, which gets dirty easy, but it's all red Alcantara. It's just super clean, unique. Couldn't find any other F430s that were like that were that completely done. Now, one thing I always find super fascinating is everybody looks at this car and first off they say it's a Ferrari, that's incredible, it must be super expensive. Well, first off, they don't even realize it's 20 years old. Secondly, a lot of trucks and SUVs on the road cost more or are worth as much as this car, even though this is a Ferrari. It's just kind of the world we live in. It's crazy how expensive a lot of these SUVs and trucks are as well, and how cheap the Ferraris can be too. Honestly, they should last a long time. I mean, we're going on 17 years. It's pure, it's solid. I expect this to just keep going. With 27,000 miles, it should be able to just keep going up and up. And there's a lot of Ferraris out there with six-figure miles that not a big deal. It just scares people because if something breaks, obviously costs a lot more to fix than one of those expensive trucks. Now, driving the Ferrari, it's a totally different experience than Mustangs and muscle cars. I grew up a Mustang guy. I love muscle cars. And this is just so much more nimble, it's so much lighter. The power hits differently, the shifts are harder. Again, it's 20 years old, the transmission's super unique. It's such an experience to drive, and I love spiders, I love convertibles. I love the wind blowing through my hair. There's nothing better. Now this is my 2020 Shelby F150, which is another vehicle that I never really had on my radar many years ago. They only build about 600 of these a year, and I saw one and it was one of those like poster in the mind things. It's like, I gotta get one of those. Now I got this particular truck about a year and a half ago, and most of my cars actually I haven't owned super long, so this is about a year and a half that I've had. And will I keep it forever? Probably not. I will probably trade this out at some point. But again, they only make 600 of these a year, so it's so much more unique. People see it on the road and they really enjoy it because they understand that you don't see a lot of these. At least that's how I am as well. Now, another reason that I've decided that I'm always gonna be a truck guy is I'm a big guy, and most SUVs and cars, people can't fit behind me because they got the seat all the way back. The F-150 is something where there's plenty of legroom for 4 adults to fit in there, and particularly my baby boy, who's now 14 months, this is his vehicle, this is his ride or die. So even though this is Baby B's car, I actually had to balance that with a car or a vehicle that is good for YouTube, because now that I do YouTube and social media stuff full time, which is obviously absolutely nuts to even think about because I'm an accountant. Can we just acknowledge I did that fairly smoothly? I had to buy a car that was good for the family, but that was still good for YouTube, that could still look good on camera, that I could still film stuff and do content with. So I needed the perfect vehicle that was good for YouTube, good for social media, but at the same time, me, my wife, and my baby could ride in safely and comfortably. Shelby F-150 doesn't get better than that. So when I'm shopping for a car for YouTube,
your ride is sweet.
There's kind of a lot of things that you're looking for. One is you still have to buy something that you're passionate about, because I think the audience knows when you truly love a car versus you're just buying a car because you think other people might like it. So that's a super key factor is I gotta be passionate about that particular car, which is why I have American Muscle, because I just love American Muscle. Now, when I'm also looking for vehicles for YouTube, you got to think about like, what does the audience want? So I'm trying to match the audience desires, what they want to see, with my own passion for cars. And so this particular car, the Porsche Shelby GT350 that is on the trailer, I'd like to say it's on the trailer because I'm taking it to a show. and I'm keeping the miles down, but it's on the trailer, frankly, because it's broken down. I bought this car 5 years ago, and this particular car was, for me, kind of the dream car. I'm a Shelby guy. I wanted a Shelby at some point in my life. It just so happened that I bought this, frankly, way ahead of schedule. YouTube had a big factor to that to help me justify the purchase. And buying this car has been an absolute dream. I've done so much to this car. When I first got it, it was just a gray car, stock, 5.2 liter V8 special engine. I've since supercharged it with the Whipple supercharger. It's pushing 950 horsepower, which is nuts. I've never even pushed it. It's insane. It's got headers, it's super loud. So driving this car is obviously a completely different experience than driving the Ferrari. This is just brute force. It's so insane. It's a car that I have to get my mind right whenever I want to take this out on the road, because it's just such an experience. Now, this particular car has got a Blue Angels themed wrap, and the common question I get a lot is, why? Did I serve in the Navy? Why would I do that? I'm just kind of a weird fan of Blue Angels. I love jets, I love the armed services, I love America, and it was just kind of a way to show some respect to the Blue Angels. And I had the experience recently to take this to the Blue Angels show. I met one of the Blue Angels medic, Brandon, who was a super stud, and he got special permissions from the Blue Angels to let us park this next to an F-18 jet, which was super cool. It was kind of a dream come true. I was able to touch the F-18 Blue Angel, got some awesome pictures. That alone was one of the coolest experiences I've had since doing YouTube. I've been over 130 all the way up to 180 in different cars at different times, in different states, in different locations. And these cars, it's sad to say, they're built for those speeds. You can ride comfortably as a passenger or driving. Chill. I was on a conference call once with my team, going 170 in a Ferrari GT350 Lusso, having a normal business discussion. Now I want to show you all the most important, impressive vehicle I have in my fleet, and that is the Guava Baby Run, Walk, Stroll, whatever. That's Baby B's ride right here. Just a beautiful spec, black with a little bit of silver. The ride is so smooth. I'm super impressed. It's smooth. It's perfect. Now, this is my 2020 Dodge Challenger Hellcat. The Hellcat is one of the greatest engines. All the Hellcat variants are insane. The supercharger whine they have perfectly. And then if you add an exhaust, you got to add a proper exhaust. Stock is okay, but I got a Corsa exhaust on this. The balance between the supercharger whine and the Corsa exhaust hits like none other. The way it sounds, the power that's there is so smooth. It's just a blast to drive. It's just totally different than all of my other cars. Credit to where Dodge is due. They killed it. A little compared, look at that. That's called power and girth. So now this Hellcat in particular is interesting. All of my cars, I've done a little bit different things to them. The Shelby GT350 has gone through a lot of changes. It was gray paint, then I wrapped it purple, put white stripes on it, supercharged it, Blue Angels wrap. The Hellcat, I have not touched the engine at all. I've only changed the exhaust because, I mean, truly, it's like the power, everything is perfect. So this thing is kind of like my midlife crisis Hellcat car. You wouldn't really expect a boring accountant to be driving this, but man, it's a blast. It's just different in its own way, and that's one thing I like about this car too. Is it's unique, but just solid. Just like that, 1, 2, 3, and smooth as butter. Easy, all that. That's it for this edition of Around the Hood with KSL Cars. Thanks for watching.